Yeah. I always pictured I would be one of the greatest. Become every sense of the word and stun on those who hate it. Something that I was given my parents that couldn't take it. Resilience to every stone that was cast, I demonstrated.
Welcome to another edition of the Rob and Rod for Life podcast. I'm your host, Rob Bruin, along with my co-host, Rob McLean. What's good, bro? How you?
What's going on, bro? Before we start, I just want to say thank you for the person that we got on the show today.
Mm-hmm.
His hard work, what he did producing, we all know what he produced.
Mm-hmm.
We needed that in the world at the time, so I just want to thank you to that, brother.
Absolutely. So we have, Baylor track star, ESPN producer, and most of all, we want to celebrate the fact that he's a father. Definitely killed the game with releasing this Last Dance documentary. So, Derwin Graham, what's good, bro?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Doing
Good,
well.
man. Glad to have you here. Definitely glad to have you here. So, man, just before we get started, man, when did you really get into rollerblading? Because we talked before and you be killing it on the rink.
I heard.
Talk to me about that.
The crazy thing is, I've been doing it for like 2 years. Just like for hobby. I went skating. We had somebody invited me to an event, so I went. They didn't have my size in roller skates. So I was like, I gotta wear size 14. I wear size 11. And I was like, let me just order my own shits just in case, just because I like to do stuff like that in bowling. So just to have my own stuff, you can't hoop in nobody else's shoes. So you like to have your own stuff. So from there, I just started going a little bit more, started going to some adult nights, started meeting some people and saw it was a bunch of black people out here still pushing that movement forward. So just kind of fell into it.
That's crazy. I've never been roller skating. I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, I'm not strong enough for that just yet.
Anybody can do it, man. That's the crazy thing. All you gotta do is get your own skates and come out once a week maybe, and it's easy to catch on to shit.
So I have to ask you, man, what is your definition of a father?
My definition of a father. Okay, we coming up with the heavy hitters already. Definition of a father is somebody that's gonna just love you unconditionally. Somebody that's gonna be there to guide you in this thing that we call life. Somebody that's going to show you the way, show you the ropes, and help you come into your own as a black man, not just a man, a black man. And that's what I try to do with my son. I try to show him that despite the negative stereotypes and the things they try to place upon black men in the world, that I could be here for him and show him that, hey, a black man could be seen in a positive light. So, despite the negative aspects that come with being a black man, I'm going to show him that, hey, I could be a good black father, a good black role model to him. Yeah,
no, I definitely feel you on that. A lot of, we fight that, well, not we, but just as black men fight that stereotype. And we definitely here to, give you your flowers on that, because that's real important that you're there, because you're really the bridge that's going, fill a lot of things for him, so it's definitely really good that you're there for him in that light. What's a few lessons that you would say that you've learned from being a father so far?
I learned how to just buckle my pants and pull myself up by the straps and just handle my shit. I had my son when I was going into my junior year.
Yeah,
so that was a real eye opener. That was a real eye opener. I found out the day before my mom's birthday. I found out I was having a son, and it just threw my whole world upside down. I was like, okay, I need to really get on my shit. I can't be out here playing games with class and stuff. So I took school and stuff a lot more serious, and I was just about handling my business. And that's being a father makes you really just look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, what do you want to do in this life? How are you going to help provide for your son or your daughter or your child? And it just makes you just wake up and just get on your grown man shit pretty much.
And your son is Derwin III. Was there any pressure just trying to continue that legacy?
Man, it's a funny story. Because I'm all for the father, everybody wants Rob Jr. or something, So it's just, you want to carry on that legacy. So I was debating back and forth, hey, do I want him to be Derwin III, or do I want him to have his own legacy per se? But I feel like he can carry his own legacy, but also carrying on that name. So it was just, my dad named me Derwin Jr. So I just felt like at least have my first son be Derwin III. So it was a lot of back and forth, but we ended up going with that.
No, I feel that. I hear a lot of people say that sometimes, like we even heard LeBron say that, it's tough just, putting that type of
Yeah.
pressure on them. Like, do they already not have their own identity? So, yeah, I think that that's really important too. Talk about, your dad's relationship, you and your father's relationship. Obviously he was an All-American back in 1985 when he was killing it as Baylor as well. But just talk about, if you don't mind, how your relationship has helped you benefit with your son's relationship.
Man, my man did his research, man.
Let's do
Dang,
it.
kudos to you, man. But now our relationship has always been good. That's it's kind of like if you see Boys in the Hood, Trey Styles and his dad. It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we like best friends in a sense, not even like also father and son stuff. Like it's more that's like one of my best friends. So I know I could always go to him for anything. He was the first person I called when I found out I was having my son. So he was just a real, just calm, collective person I could go to and just talk about anything. So just in that sense, he was not only just a father, but like a best friend. That's what I try to bring with me and my son. Like me and we'll play Beyblades and we'll play the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Wii and stuff like that all the time. So I want to show him that, hey, I'm your father, but I'm also like a friend and somebody that you can like confide in and talk about anything. Don't feel like you got to hide anything with me. Like I'm here to keep it real with you, keep it real with me. And he sees that and he knows that he can always have fun with me and also come with me to like just help him if he needs anything and help guide him. So that was something me and my father instilled in me and I looked to instill in my son. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely salute to you on that, bro. That's real big.
Yeah, and all those memories count. And you took your son to the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. That's a memory that he's gonna remember for the rest of his life. What was that experience like?
Oh yeah, that was dope. Just because he's at that age where sports are starting to come into his life. He's starting to show some interest in some sports. So taking him to where all the greats are at and show him, hey, like you could be here too. Like some of the people that are here started off the same way we started off. So like you see this could be your dream or something. So he's starting to get tall and stuff now. He's starting to know how to handle the rock and stuff, starting to work on his little jump shots. So I mean he's getting to the point where he's got an interest in the sport. So just taking him to that place where, hey, if you're hardworking and you're on your stuff, handling your grades in school and stuff, you can get to this level too. So that's a memory that he forever cherishes and he talks about it to this day. So it was cool just to get him up there for the ESPN discount too at that. So shout out to him for the ESPN discount. So it was cool.
That's a fact. We need all of that. Discounts and everything.
Is there a sport that you wouldn't let your son play?
I mean, I'm pretty much open for anything, really. I mean, baseball makes a lot of money despite,
true.
There's not too many black people out there playing baseball.
Does.
They make money. So if he decides to play baseball, even soccer, soccer is like the biggest sport in the world. But we don't just see too many people that look like us playing soccer like that. So if he decides to do that and do his thing in that, like by all means, I'm going to push it hard. But if he decides to do like track and basketball, track especially, like that's 100%.
All in.
All in, man. Like my dad, he ran track at Baylor and stuff. Yeah, the genes. So he got the All-American. My dad was professional for a minute, running with Nike and stuff. So it was cool just seeing stuff like that. So if he decided to go with like track, he definitely has myself and my dad, people that are like experts with track and fields to kind of back him and show him the way. So definitely open to all sports for sure. Maybe football. I'm on the fence, the CTE stuff these days and the helmet. So all the reports and the studies coming out about that. So that would be the only question mark. But if he was all for it, like I would support it, but kind of be hesitant, But yeah, it is what it is.
I feel you on that.
You're not only a father, but you're working at ESPN too. How are you able to manage the balance of doing both at the same time?
I do pretty good. It's definitely difficult being my son is still back in Texas where I'm from. So luckily we have things like FaceTime and Skype, stuff like that now to where I could talk to him on a regular basis to where I still feel like I'm there and I could be a supportive father, call him after school and stuff and help him with homework and stuff like that. So I really don't miss out on a whole bunch in his life. My work schedule is pretty flexible, so I'm able to like take off and leave whenever. I haven't missed a birthday yet, so I was able to get down there despite having to work and stuff. So I'll just bring my work stuff, and I'm able to work remotely like I'm doing now. So, like stuff like that. I ended up missing actually one of the shoots for The Last Dance. Actually, I missed one of those shoots to be able to go down back to Texas to go see him and spend some time with him. So definitely just co-managing stuff like that, seeing what's a priority with work. Seeing if it's if I'm able to do it remotely versus having to go into the office, and then it allows me to go back and forth between Texas and here with no problem. So it's definitely been smoother than people would expect it to be, from Connecticut all the way to Texas. So it's a blessing, man.
Derwin, I gotta ask you, man, what's going through your mind when you have like a dream job on your hands, but your son is in Texas? That's a tough decision. Like, what's going through your mind when it's like, yo, I gotta chase this dream, but I gotta be a full-time father as well. So just walk us through that moment.
And definitely rough. When I got the job offer, when they called me, I was excited, but I was also like, damn, like I'm gonna have to be away from my son. So I couldn't even really just fully be happy for, getting the job offer like that. First thing I did was I called him, talked to him a little bit, talked to my parents, talked to his mama, and then I waited maybe a couple of days before I replied back with the acceptance. And I was just like, man, I feel like by going out here to Connecticut, it'll help me in the long run trying to set him up in the future for success. So now that I got my name and stuff like the Jordan documentary, Bruce Lee, and all these other 30 for 30s and projects that we have, I feel like that's helped me out for the future. So I'm able to get a higher paying job or something. And then I could give him all the stuff that I didn't have growing up so he could have it and stuff and be like, oh, I'm set. Like, he'll never have to ask for nothing now that, I'm out here. I had to sacrifice and come out here to Connecticut versus staying back in Texas with him. So it was definitely a tough choice to make. I think in the end, he'll appreciate it much more and be like, man, my dad worked at ESPN. That was real cool. So,
Yeah. What's your favorite 30 for 30? That Bruce Lee one was tough.
Yeah, man. Well, off top, no crossover. That Allen Iverson. I'm an Allen Iverson fan. I got an Allen Iverson tattoo. Only the strong survivor tatted on my leg. So
that's tough.
Yeah. So that's my guy for life right there, man. He was the reason I wore number 3 in basketball. The reason I had grade from first grade all the way to high school. So definitely no crossover. Shout out to my boy Allen Iverson. Actually met him this year at All-Star Weekend in Chicago. So that was cool. That was a nice little bucket list check off. But between that, of course, The Last Dance got to be up there now. That was a real cool one. 9.79 about Carl Lewis and Ben Johnson, the track and field one. We don't have too many 30 for 30s on track and field. So that's an underrated, underappreciated one that I really enjoy. So.
Which 30 for 30? Me, I'm a Fab Five guy.
Fab Five guy, okay.
It's a classic, yeah. It's a classic.
I like that Bruce Lee one for real.
Yeah, that Bruce Lee one is tough, man. It's different too. So
it was different, yeah.
I was really excited when we got to push that one out.
I like how I mentioned a lot more about like what he did for acting too. That's some things I didn't even know about for real.
Yeah,
Bruce Lee will chop you up.
That was a real good one.
Yeah. Which one of the ESPN, 30 for 30s really is like a blueprint for you? So like when you're going to create, which one do you really lean on and say, this is what I'm thinking about, I should really really push from?
Well, we always going to try and live up to the standard that OJ Made in America kind of set up. Like that was the one where like, man, this is one of the greatest documentaries of all time. Yeah, regardless of if it's sports or just regular documentaries. So I think we go in trying to reach that status as far as just putting out real high quality storytelling and just doing everything we can to tell an effective story, both in a sports aspect and just a normal, just good documentary aspect. So I think we kind of keep that in mind, but for the most part, we just for high quality stories that will hold interest to people that are watching, both that are sports fans and just regular people that watch TV, like the average Joe out here. So I think we kind of go into it like that.
Let's talk about that Last Dance. What was it like working on something that the whole world was tuned into?
Man, it was real cool, man. When I first got the job offer, it was like right off the bat, like, yeah, once you get here, the first thing you'll be working on is the Jordan documentary. I'm like, oh, what? Like, ooh, okay, that's a monster right there. I just don't throw me in the So I got here the first day, just working straight on that. And, it's just been cool just communicating with the whole team and just being able to be a key component to make that happen, even pushing it out as early as we did. It was just cool that we were able to come together and be able to push that out for the people to tune in. And I was glad to have a strong hand in that with the archival footage, being the archival producer of our ESPN footage over here. pretty much majority of the stuff that you see that wasn't shot from them it came from stuff that I found and thought would look cool in the episode and stuff. And I'm glad that a lot of stuff that I pulled up making those final cuts. So it was cool to see a bunch of my stuff. I'm sitting here watching with my friends like, hey, I found that shot. I produced the commercial breaks, the vault and stuff like that was stuff that I produced with me and my manager. We co-produced that together. So just being able to just be a part of history, man, it was just a blessing to be a part of it. And just thankful for the journey.
So
when you say the vote,
part.
you're talking about those moments where the anchor was on TV and he was saying like, "What if you're in this moment?" Yeah, those are so fire, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, hats off to you on that, bro. That was super super fire.
Yeah, you
it was like he traveled back in time, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, nah,
they put me in positions where, hey, do you want to do this? And I'm just happy to take advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. If there's one thing you could change about The Last Dance or how you executed it, what would that be?
Honestly, I wouldn't change anything. If anything, probably give it more time. I know it wasn't scheduled to air till the summer, and we ended up pushing it out super early. Besides that, I think it came together perfectly. Everything went as smoothly as it could, especially with the whole coronavirus, COVID-19 thing going on. So I would probably just change the fact that everybody that worked on it, we didn't get to all come together at the end like we planned on, having like the Last Dance after party and just embracing each other in person. We had to do it via Zoom calls and stuff like that and do our little toast at the end like that. But besides that, it would have been cool just to see everybody, see the director in person, maybe even see Mike in person. So besides that, like everything else was cool. Like I think it went as smoothly as you could ask it to. So
I like how though it was an MJ documentary, it was basically a Chicago Bulls documentary, right? So was that planned or did that stuff come natural, just focus on the other players around them?
See, so the thing is, people naturally like to say, hey, it's the Jordan doc, but even I call myself saying, the Jordan doc, but really it is about the Bulls. It's that 90s Bulls team. That's the documentary. That's the main focus of it. But I think by it just being with Jordan stuff, and it allowed for other people to come in and have their own little side stories, like a little stem to a tree branch or something, and let them tell their story that kind of goes into it all. And it was just interesting to see those because we know, Jordan was the GOAT and whatever, but it's also cool to see Steve Kerr's story, what all went into him and how him and Jordan both lost their fathers. So just to see that kind of tie in, and that made their story better because, hey, okay, they have that connection. They're able to connect like that and form a bond like teammates never had before. So
whose decision was that?
Oh, that's definitely the director in that team right there.
Okay.
So they did a good job with the whole starting in 1998, going back to 94.
Yeah, and then switching back.
And with the timeline, that was something real different that you don't really just see in too many documentaries. So that was an interesting take that it ended up paying off in the end. I thought it might be a little confusing at first to people just watching, but I feel like people were able to keep track, and it just made for a cooler storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you have a lot of different players now that are coming out and saying their real feelings about everything that's going on. What do you say to people that really think that you guys that created this tried to hide a few things about Jordan? How do you feel about that?
I mean, you're always gonna have people that have negative things to say about it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. Of course, he'll have some say-so in it just because he's going to be on camera and stuff. But at the end of the day, it made for good storytelling. We kept it as, as honest as it's going to be. And that's it, man.
No, I definitely respect that.
What's your next project? If you could pick one play that you could do right now for a next documentary, who would it be?
Ooh.
Yeah, who's missing? Who's that one that you need to do?
Man, if it was me personally, I would do more of the sports that people don't really just see. I'm a track and field guy, so it'd be cool to see more track and field stuff out there. Maybe Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson's the MJ of track, so it'd be cool just to see something like that, or Usain Bolt type of thing. Maybe even the Houston Comets or something. The only team to 4-peat in WNBA or NBA, so just something different.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty neat. I don't know.
I have to ask you though, why didn't you guys include any footage of Jordan playing on the Wizards?
See, a lot of people had that same question. And we got to keep in mind, it's not just the Jordan dot, it's the 90s Bulls. So,
Okay.
yeah, it would have been cool to mention that, but it was more so just solely supposed to be about the 90s Bulls in that time frame versus just Jordan himself. Then you could come and include the Wizards and stuff like that. So that's why we didn't include that because, I was thinking the same thing, but then I had to snack and be like, oh, it's Jordan dot, it's just 90s Bulls. So,
Got you.
but that would have been cool to see, though.
It would have been dope, but I mean, if that's your angle on it, that's the angle.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe a little 30 short or something. Jordan.
Nah, I definitely hear you on that. So now you push into really killing it at Baylor. For me, for one, how do you even become a long distance runner? Like, where does that even start?
Man, shoot, it started. We kids just on the block. My dad would have me and my brother just racing, and he noticed that I ain't had a speed like that, but I had some endurance on me. So did the little summer track. He threw me out there in like the 800, and I was in meet stuff. And then, okay, well, we're gonna bump you up, trying to do the mile. Bump me up to the mile. Started winning those races.
That mile is no joke.
And from there, just yeah.
No joke.
Yeah, the mile is beastie.
Mile is beastie. That was my bread and butter, right? Just the distance running, PRs in the miles like 406 and stuff. So I was just good at distance running. So I stuck with it through high school. Ended up being an All-American in high school, getting recruited by pretty much any school you could think of. I got to find the old footage of me committing because I did it kind of like how football players doing stuff
like the videos,
hoodie on and stuff. Yeah.
The basketball stuff. That's wavy.
My little brother,
if you get that, you got to send that.
Yeah, man. It was like me and my brother came down to Baylor, A&M, and Arkansas. Those were my final 3 schools. And then I had my younger brother come up and was like, hey, make the decision for me. Like, pick what school. And then he tossing at the hats. And then he acted like he was about to toss the Baylor one. Then he came and put it back on. And I took my off, had the Baylor shirt on and stuff like that.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, that is fire.
It was cool, man. I got to find that video. It's somewhere at the crib at my parents' house. But yeah, that's how I stuck with long distance. I saw that it could get me to college and pay for my education, so I'm debt free.
Mm-hmm.
Got a whole degree from Baylor University, and I thank track and field for that. It took me a long way, so definitely blessed and humbled to be able to say I don't have to pay debt. Sally Mae, I don't owe no money, nothing. So
the loans is different.
All good. The loans, man, they different.
Very.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you.
Fun fact.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna hit you with a fun fact. Last year, when I first got to ESPN in January. In July, they had the company 5K run. So I was just like, okay, I'll run it with my coworkers and stuff. Ended up winning the whole ESPN 5K. So yeah.
Easy.
I'm the ESPN champ.
It put the cheat code out there.
ESPN champ. That sounds nice.
They ain't know, man. They ain't know.
Nice.
Nah, that's a fact.
I gotta ask you, at Baylor, were you the best long distance runner on your team?
Yeah, I was usually
like
top
that.
1 or 2 guys. Yeah, nah, but I was definitely number 1 or 2 guy pretty much all 4 years being at Baylor. Co-captain of the cross country team my junior and senior year. So definitely, I wasn't no slouch out here. I was just out there, all conference and stuff. So I was always like a top contender to win and stuff. So I was. My name whole weight out there in the Big 12. So
Nah, I feel that.
And we know that you did some coaching as well as Texas Southern. How was that experience like?
The boys went deep in their research bag. Yeah.
And did you see anybody that reminds you of yourself back in the day?
Dang. So after I graduated from Baylor, I moved to Houston. Me and my brother got a little apartment together. And when I was trying to just figure out my next move, I was like, hey, I got an offer to be the head cross country coach and assistant track coach at TSU. Shout out to TSU, Texas Southern, we in the building. And we ended up winning indoor SWAC championship and the outdoor SWAC championship for the first time in like 15 years, maybe.
It's fine.
It was just cool being a part of that. I ended up coaching the indoor champion in the mile and the 1500 for outdoor. Everybody that I coached PR by like 5 seconds. PR means their personal record.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just cool just to come in and just have an automatic effect on those guys. As soon as they came in, they just had somebody that can coach them and stuff like that, because a lot of them guys had never had a coach or anything. So just somebody just leaving them and push them. It was just cool to see that look in their eyes, like, hey, this dude. Plus, I was kind of young still, so I was still in that age.
So they can relate to you.
Them. Yeah, they can relate to me, and they really respected me too. So it was just cool just to see that and see them really give their all to everything that I was doing, despite me just still trying to figure it out. I'm still a year or two fresh out of college, so I don't know how to fully coach. I just know what worked for me. So let me just see what I can do to switch it up and make it work for them. And a lot of those guys ended up getting medals and stuff and placing that conference. And it was just cool. A couple of the guys kind of reminded me of myself. The dude that won the mile indoor and the 1500 outdoor, he kind of reminded me of myself. He was a real good dude, built just like me and stuff, had the quickness and stuff. So I really kind of pushed him to try and just be the best he could. So he ended up doing real good in life too. He ended up graduating. All my guys ended up graduating, actually. My final dude that I coached, he graduated last year. So it was cool to see them not only excel on the track, but off the track. And I really pushed them to do that. So it was cool. TSU forever in my heart. So.
Yeah, no, that's dope. It has to be a good feeling to know that, you impacted a group of guys, that really helped, build their development. Yeah. So, yeah, that's super, super dope. Before we leave the track topic, I have to ask you, what was your feeling when you and your teammates set a record in the men's distance relay for 9 minutes and 53 seconds? Like, at the time, it was like the 10th best in school history. Like, walk me through that moment, because that's Superman vibes right there. Like,
yeah, man. It was dope because we went into that race not even knowing what we were going to do, because everybody, of course, had their own individual races that meet. So everybody kind of had dead legs already, and we just kind of threw a team together last second, like, hey, we're just going to go out here and do whatever in it. And I ended up being the anchor, and I ended up getting the stick either second to last or third to last. We were pretty far behind, and then Superman just kicked in, just started hauling people in, try to finish as close to the top as I could. Ended up getting like third in the heat or whatever. And we just looked up at the clock and saw that time, and we were, oh, that's pretty fast. And then Baylor statistics guy, he pulled up the stats and saw, hey, y'all ran one of the top times like in school history. It was just it's funny because we didn't go into that meet trying to do anything at all with that race, because everybody had their own individual successes, but we still came together and pulled off that. So it was cool, man. It was fun.
That's crazy, because normally with that race, you wouldn't have like a plan coming in. So just that you got
exactly.
last minute for everybody. That's wild.
So now, like, how do you feel like since you walked into ESPN, killing it with The Last Dance, like, where do we go from here now?
Shoot, we go into hiding. We go into our little hiatus. We just feel like we pushed out a lot of good quality content, original content, during this whole coronavirus quarantine pandemic. And so now we just go back to the drawing boards. We start going back into research and development, just fishing out ideas, potential ideas that we already had in the works and stuff that might come to mind later. Just trying to see what could be potentially a good 30 for 30 or ESPN film for 2021, 2022. So we got some stuff in the works right now. I can't give out too much information on those.
No previews.
No previews just yet. But we got some heat, man. It's gonna be some stuff that I'm leading on that it might be some classics, man. So we definitely got some stuff in the works. But for now, we're kind of just going through our research and development phase, just talking stuff out and pitching ideas and just seeing what lands, basically. So that's what we're doing for now. That's we're about to take a break. I'm about to go back to Texas in a minute. So definitely some time off.
And you worked on the D. Wade's documentary. The way you approached that and the way you approached The Last Dance, was there any similarities or any differences as the way you position yourself?
Yeah, it was definitely some similarities. Of course, the whole thing with the Jordan thing was that they had a whole bunch of unseen footage and stuff before. So that was kind of the same approach with the Dwayne Wade one. The team that shot that film, okay, we're cool. But yeah, the dude that shot the Wade documentary, they had a whole bunch of footage from what they said, 2004 up to like when he retired and stuff like that. So just that fact that they had all that footage just sitting on all that old footage. So they kind of leaned on that old footage to tell the story, and then as well as the stuff that I found and pulled from our archives and stuff. So those were a couple similarities for those films. But working on the D-Wade one was pretty fun. I ended up flying to Chicago for All-Star Weekend, and we did a private screening at his old high school, and the kids didn't know that he was coming. He came in. So I did a little video for that, showing their reaction come in there as watching the movie and stuff. And it was just cool being a part of that whole process, just from beginning to end. And just seeing the kids' reaction, seeing Dwayne Wade's reaction. We held a private screening that night as well, the same night as that. And that's when like guys like Rick Ross and Mario had showed up to the screening.
Oh, so he was in the building with the team.
Man, he's getting right.
Yeah, it was up in there, man. But yeah, it was pretty well received. Definitely, low key might be an underrated one too in these next few years. It technically wasn't a 30 for 30; it was an ESPN film. And people like to say, "Oh, if it's an ESPN film, it's 30 for 30," but they're two kind of separate entities in their own. So that's a fun fact for you guys.
Yeah, nah, definitely. So, man, we definitely have to, salute you, give you a toast for everything that you've done so far. You being a great father and just, breaking down these barriers. So, to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
To more
Appreciate
success.
you, boys.
Absolutely. Well, man,
Success
we appreciate y'all for. Absolutely. Like excellence all around. Yeah. We appreciate y'all tuning in. The Rob and Rob for Life podcast featuring Derwin Graham. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Beauty underrated. Was told to believe if you're not a scholar, get addiction. A boy like you in the league, only way that people paying. I started believing that I was one that wouldn't make it. That gave me more reason to question pictures people painted. I stopped giving a fuck.